Good morning, y'all. Welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church in Houston, Texas. I am your membership coordinator, Audrey Gale Hall, pronouns she, they, and I want to remind you that our beloved community of faith, reason, and affection welcomes all to grow in mind and spirit as together we build a better world. If you're new around here, please know that we are especially glad to have you today, whether you're in the sanctuary or online. And if that is you, please take a moment to fill out our yellow visitor card so that we can follow up with you and share information about the church and our activities. If you don't have a yellow card in front of you in the pews, you might look in the chat of the YouTube stream or check in the gathering place on your way out for a yellow card. This is a church in many places. The world is a different one than it was in the 2010s, so our worship services have changed accordingly. Some of us are here in the pews and others are joining in cyberspace. With Harris County's current COVID threat level at yellow, we're asking people to choose what feels right for them in terms of masking and social distancing in the pews. And instead of passing the plate, we're collecting our offerings in the baskets on my right, on my left, and in the back in the center of the sanctuary. For those of us who are here this morning, let's take a moment to visualize the dozens of friends, neighbors, and visitors who are taking part in this service through YouTube, either right now or later on in the week. And for those listening at home or wherever you might be, please know that we're thinking about you, that you are here with us in spirit as we move into worship mode, silence our cell phones, imagine the beautiful sight of all the in-person churchgoers settling in for our prelude.
Good morning. I am the Reverend Michelle LaGrave, she, her, interim minister of this congregation, and I welcome you to our flower communion service this morning. So if you have not brought your flowers forward already, please feel free to do so now. If you didn't bring any because you didn't know or you forgot, we have lots and lots of extra because we plan for visitors. So know that there will be plenty and everyone is welcome to join in. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you find yourself on your life's journey, whichever your pronouns, whether you've walked in or rolled in or dialed in, whomever you love, You are welcome here.
As we celebrate life's beauty, may we never forget that we are a part of it. It is woven around us, through us, between us. We are here to notice those elegant strands, the way they call to us, the way they hold us, the way they connect us. May our time together today enable that beauty to shine.
For our chalice lighting this morning, I have a very special guest to welcome. Adrian Rodriguez, our most recent music director before Julia. Right from New York City. Let's light the chalice for beauty now, the beauty we seek, the beauty we share, the beauty we nurture together. And now let us sing our opening hymn, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth, which is in the gray hymnal if you want to see the musical notes.
For our story today, we're going to be talking about one of David May's favorite things, plants. Now, when you look at this table with flowers, you think, it's a still life. They're all just sitting there. And yet, our book today is Plant Can't Sit Still. And what we're going to encourage you all to do is to move around a little. Whether you stay in your pew or on your couch at home, whether you come into the aisle or dance in your hallway, we're going to look at ways that our bodies, however they want to move, however they will let us move today. Excuse me, I've got a clinking happening, don't I? Sorry about that. We are going to move our bodies however we want, because like plants, we can't sit still. Plants don't have feet or fins or wings, yet they can move in many ways. Let's look closely. Guys, I really do need to see some movement. Look closely and you'll discover that plants can't sit still. Plants can wiggle as seedlings start to grow. They squirm out of the spring soil, they unfold their leaves, and they reach for the warmth and the light. Plants can creep. They slither underground, or they crawl through tall grasses, searching for the things that all plants need: water and sunshine and room to grow. As they search, plants can climb a fence or walk up a wall. Plants can hide from a hungry grasshopper, or on the other side, surprise, snap a fly. Some plants, you might notice, sleep at night. Their leaves nod, their flowers fold. But others wake up with the stars and they lift their faces to the moon. Plants can tumble on a breeze. They whoosh as they bounce, and as they're bouncing along, their seeds spring out. Plants can even explode, flinging their seeds into the world to make new plants. Some seeds are a plant built for travel. Seeds can whirl like helicopters, or float on parachutes, or glide on paper wings, but they can't stand still. Seeds might hitchhike on your sock or on a fox's bushy tail. They take a ride inside a bear. Seeds set sail, sploosh, down the river past swaying trees into the wide ocean, drifting, waiting, just floating, waiting for what they need to grow: water and sunshine and room to grow. When the seed finds a spot, the seedling again, it squirms out, it unfolds its leaves, it reaches for the warmth and the light, and it keeps on moving because plants can't sit still. And neither can we.
Here's another chance for y'all to get up because it's offering time. Giving out of what is our own is a transformative act. As a community of faith, we collect an offering, not for ourselves or for our congregation, but to give to others as a collective action, in a way to live out our shared values. So today I want to ask that we give with generous hearts to support our May Share the Plate recipient, which is Plant It Forward. Plant It Forward empowers refugees to develop sustainable urban farming businesses throughout Houston that produce fresh, healthy food for our community. This organization secures land, This organization secures land, trains and mentors farmers, and facilitates sales to local markets. In other news, as y'all know, local UU churches are teaming up to hire a coordinator for our upcoming UU the Vote effort, which is encouraging folks across Houston to vote. In 2020, it was really helpful for us to have a coordinator, so we're hoping to improve on our record, especially since this is an important election year. Emerson's share of this initiative is $3,000. So special donations are very much appreciated, and in those cases, you can make out checks to Emerson UU Church, earmarked UU Vote Coordinator. While we're raising funds, 25% of our Share the Plate offerings will temporarily go to this account instead of Meals on Wheels. Let's all pitch in and make this happen. You can find offering baskets on my left and right and in the back of the sanctuary, but we also have 4 total ways to give. You can text the number on your screen, go to our webpage for online giving, or mail a check to church.
a place called Budapest at the time. He was raised in a Catholic church. As he grew older, he also grew more liberal and moved on over to the Baptists, where he became a minister. Eventually, he moved to the United States during the First World War, and in 1919 had a sudden realization that he just couldn't do it anymore. He was too liberal for the Baptists. By 1921, he had found the Unitarians in New Jersey and joined a church there. After the war was over, he returned to his homeland and started a church in Prague, Czechoslovakia. And while there, in 1923, he started something called the flower ceremony. He had a church filled with people who were former Catholics, Protestants, and Jews. And he needed some kind of religious ritual that would work for everyone. And so he designed this idea of a flower ceremony. He invited everyone to bring a flower to church that day. It was the last Sunday of the year before summer let out. They let out for summer. And they could bring it from the field or from their home gardens or from the roadside, wherever they wanted to. They could choose their flower and bring it to church. And when they came into the vestibule area of the church, they were invited to place the flower in a vase, signifying that they were joining that community of their own free will. Maya, in 1940, his wife, Maya Chapek, brought the flower ceremony to Cambridge in Massachusetts, where it eventually spread to more and more congregations in the United States. So this morning, we will begin by blessing these flowers using some very old language actually written by Norbert himself. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of one another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in the world. So in a few moments, we will begin flower communion by having all of you come forward during the song and choose a flower different from the one that you had brought with you in the beginning. But let us begin with these words. Enter into the communion of flowers with joyful hearts. Enter with reverent thoughts. It has taken long months beneath cold ground for these flowers to prepare their blooming. It has taken each of us long times of growth through sorrow and joy to prepare for our living now. The blooming season is short. The flowers stay only a brief time. We are travelers upon the earth, travelers through all too brief lifetimes. Therefore, let our moments be beautiful and bountiful. Let us rejoice in our unique colors, aromas, and sounds. Let us celebrate together in love that as we travel away, we take with us the memory of golden hours among the flowers. Let our celebration begin. Please find a comfortable place to be or in your seats, and place your feet flat on the floor if you can and if you will. so that you might feel grounded, more connected to the earth, which nourishes and sustains us all. Do not close your eyes this time. Instead, pick up the flower that you just received from communion and take a deep breath in. Allow your eyes to land softly on the flower you have chosen. Appreciate its colors, its texture, its shape, its form. Does it have a fragrance? Does it have only one color or many? Is it soft or rough? Does it have thorns? Notice its imperfections. And if you are online, imagine that you have chosen one of the flowers with us this morning. Or do the same for a flower within your gaze. This is a gift brought here from someone you may or may not know. Care for it, hold it tenderly, and cherish it as together we enter into the silence. Amen, and blessed be.
Early in the morning, before the children are awake and while the grass is still dewy, I like to walk in my garden. It's my garden only because it shares the same small plot of land my family and I inhabit. The garden does not really belong to me. I belong to it, at least for the short time I'm here. Today I'm still in my slippers and have my first cup of coffee in hand. Much of what grows had been planted 2 or 3 homeowners ago. Some I've planted since our arrival, but if they belong to anyone or anything, the plants and flowering trees I come to see and smell, viburnum, dogwood, magnolia, crabapple, belong to the sun and rain and soil. These living things are a beauty not of my making, though surely made of my desire. At the moment, the rose bushes are in full burst of red and perfume. The hydrangeas are sure to open their moppy heads as soon as the sun falls upon them. The weedy-looking globe thistles are turning lovely blue and spiky. The foxglove, however, rules the garden. Its central stalk is 5 feet tall and heavy with pink, scoop-shaped blossoms with charming freckles inside. I am awed by its abundance. I'd intended to walk the garden simply to observe and wonder. but there's a weed that must be pulled, a stray stem that needs to be pruned, a blossom drooping and fading that should be snipped. So I set down my coffee cup on the back porch, grab a small pail, and go to work. I end up with muddy hands, wet slippers, and a pail full of weeds and trimmings. Why can't I simply observe and wonder? Won't the beauty of my small garden world survive without me? I step back to the porch to retrieve my coffee, now cold, stamp the dew off my slippers, and take one look back at the garden before I return to the house. The garden is no more beautiful now than when I first arrived. My weed pulling, pruning, and snipping haven't really improved the garden, nor made that much of a difference as far as I know. It's like prayer. The words I speak don't really change anything, but I know they change me.
This weekend is the church retreat, or at least it just ended, I think, a couple hours ago. Some of you made it back for church. Some of you are having church service at the retreat this morning, I understand. The theme of this church retreat is connections. And yesterday, there was an exercise that we all of us who were able to go engaged in, tracing out our connections just like a web, like an interdependent web. We used the back of the reproductive justice banner and Sharpies, colorful Sharpies. Each person was allowed to choose their own bright, bold, beautiful color. And then the instructions were to write our name and draw a line out from the center of the chalice flame that had been put in the middle of the banner. And on those lines, put several dots that said something about who we are or things that we liked or whatever. This was a thread that had continued from our recent Kilgore lecture, where the lecturer talked about how when we are trying to relate to people who have radically different views from our own, one way we can do that is by finding the things that are similar. So what ways, if we can't connect on politics, for example, that was the theme of his talk, then how can we connect? Maybe we love dogs. Maybe we love to garden. Maybe we love pizza. So, for those of you who did not get to play along yesterday, you get to play along now too, or maybe again. We're not going to draw, though. We're just going to raise our hands and wave and shout and whatever. So, I'll begin. I'm going to shout out something that is true about me, and that if it is also true about you, you can clap, raise your hands, make a noise, do whatever you want. And then somebody else will take a turn. It doesn't matter who, just yell out, and I'll repeat it into the mic, since you all don't have microphones out there. Everybody clear? Ready? Okay. I love pizza. Music. Traveling. Chocolate, yes. Books, oh yes. Was it arts? Okay, arts. All right. Cats? Pets? All right. Nature, yes. Climbing trees. I wish I could. I'm sure I would love it. The moon. Exploring, yes.
I love sleeping.
Yes, says the mom of 2 toddlers.
I love Emerson.
Emerson. I love Adrian. All right. Thank you all for playing along, and you can continue to play along at Social Hour today if you would like to. So we know from this that there are ways in which we are both alike, and there are ways in which we are different. So we can connect in those ways that we are alike. We do this all the time. That's often the way we start brand new friendships. It is we discover we have something in common with someone that we've just met. And we can also discover we have things in common with people we've known for a long time, but we had never talked to about such and such thing or such and such other thing, right? There are also ways in which we are significantly different. Our life experiences are different. Our families of origin are different. Our skills and talents are different. The ways we have experienced the world are different. The ways we have been hurt by the world are different. There is an amazing variety of differences within humankind, and we can engage those differences too by being curious in a warm and gentle and kind way. Like the gardener in the garden from our reading a few minutes earlier, we are changed by our experiences within our community. The gardener was changed by his experience in the garden. We are changed by our experiences in community. Part of being in this community is about something called faith formation. Faith formation is part of what we do in religious education or religious exploration. It is how we talk about the ways in which we grow and change and adapt our faith as we age. Part of this is about the stories we tell. Part of it's about the stories we hear. And it's not the old top-down teacher-student model. Children teach adults, adults teach other adults. We learn from each other as we engage with each other the ways in which we are both alike and the ways in which we are different. We learn to encounter the world and each other in new ways, and our faith, our trust in whatever that is bigger than us, whether it's God or the universe or humankind as a whole, is changed, is formed. I have one last story to leave you with. It's a bittersweet story. In 1942, the Reverend Norbert Chopek, the originator, creator of our flower ceremony, which we just celebrated, was taken away to Dachau. It was World War II, and he was in Prague. He was known to be harboring Jewish people within his congregation. He was known to be listening to foreign broadcasts. There are probably a few other reasons, too, that he was hauled away to the concentration camp. And he did die there in a great deal of pain. But before that happened, you know what he did with the other prisoners? He celebrated flower communion. He and the other inhabitants of the concentration camp found whatever flowers they could among the grass and the weeds, and they had their own flower ceremony, teaching us that beauty can be found even in great sorrow and in great pain. This is what our religious community is for. These times, the times of great sorrow and great pain, are the times in which we lean on each other the most. These are the times in which we express gratitude for whatever beauty it is that we can find and do have, because there is always beauty somewhere nearby. May it always be so. Amen, and blessed be. Let us rise either in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, which is number 76, For the Flowers That Bloom About Our Feet. We have basked in the warmth and beauty of this flame and this community. As the chalice flame is extinguished, let us carry its glow within. Let us kindle new sparks within these walls and beyond. May our lives be reflections of the beauty, peace, and joy that is possible in this world. And may love we find in this place sustain us as we go our separate ways. Amen, and blessed be.
Okay, y'all, I'm here for announcements. As usual, we're gonna have social time here out in the courtyard and also on Zoom. For those of y'all here, you can check the YouTube chat for the link. It's going to be hosted by Board Trustee Marilyn Rambo. Marilyn, thank you so much. Also, I want to extend a reminder, especially to kiddos and parents, that today we have pizza with Reverend Michelle in the courtyard at 12:15. Also today, if you want to wait around 10 minutes after the service, I want to extend a warm invitation for folks to come and join the Dream Team. The membership committee, which is my support team consisting of Carol Trout, is hosting an open meeting for folks who are ushers, greeters, lay pastoral ministry team members, running our Helping Hands program, or otherwise just interested in how they can have a role in our membership program. So in about 10 minutes, after stepping outside in the sun and having some snacks, I encourage you to join me at the bottom of the stairway. That's all. Now we have our postlude.